Right, so welcome back to MotoGP Backs podcast number 6. Tonight I have Sleepwalker and Jake with me. Hello guys, how are you doing?
Well, Mac.
Doing good.
Oh, good, yeah.
Stuff. So, Sleep, you're going to talk a little bit today about the Armoy road races and what is coming up next. We'll get into that first, and then we will cover the Silverstone MotoGP. It's finally back. The 5-week slumber is over. I can't believe
Your wait is over, Mac. Your wait is over.
Oh man, you've no idea how hard it is to make content for 5 weeks with nothing really happening in the MotoGP world. It's like, but Joe, we're out the other side of it. You know, technically tomorrow, well, we're shooting this on Wednesday, but Joe, you will be seeing this on Thursday. So tomorrow they're back on track in Anger, and I'm buzzing for it. I can't wait, Joe, just to see, even hear or see the bikes back on track. And I'm kind of actually a bit annoyed at myself, seeing as Silverstone is only like an hour and 10 minutes flight away, probably like 50 quid that I didn't go to it, but I've holidays to go to in the next 2 weeks, so I think I'd be getting in trouble if I was like to say I'm off there for the weekend to the old Grand Prix. I think I'd get murdered. But just in news, have you seen that MotoGP is starting in Portugal next year?
I did see that, yeah.
In Portimao, lads. It's a obviously, Jake, it's an expensive flight for you to get to Portugal.
Yeah, it's an expensive flight for me. And the Americans, it's a 6-hour flight to Texas.
Yeah, but like it's. I'm actually going to Portugal in the next 2 weeks, and as you know, the Portimao track is a very special track to myself. I worked actually on the track, putting in the warning lights, so. Spent a good month and a half baiting around it. Hold a lap record for a transit around that track as well. And scooter racing. We used to do scooter racing in the evening around the track. I was very good at that too. But look, really excited about that. And look, it's a very easy circuit to get in and out of. And it's good. There's a lot of overtaking. But definitely some good news in it. So Sleep is
sorry, lads.
All right, no worries. So Sleep, let's go back to the road racing. You were at Armoy last weekend. We saw some of your excellent footage. There is loads more of that to come. He sent me over 20 minutes of footage. I think so far I've used about 8 minutes of the footage that you sent. So there's another good bit to come. But definitely want to, I suppose, learn about what you experienced at Armoy.
Right, well, Armoy there, we went up Thursday evening for practice on Friday and race day on Saturday. And they were supposed to run. Practice was to run on Friday with 2 races to run on Friday evening, but they had to put the 2 races off because of the rain. So they started the racing then on Saturday morning. Davey Todd actually went. Now, practice on Friday was nearly as good as racing on Saturday. To be honest, it was absolutely brilliant. So it was. There was lads racing during qualifying, if you know what I mean, like, you know.
Yeah.
And we had a class spot there, just sitting on the wall where they come out of the corner from Armoy Village. So literally trackside, you know, you couldn't have got any closer. So Saturday, Friday was the pace was really, really hot. Just to give you an idea of how hot it was, Davey Todd broke the lap record that Michael Dunlop had previously set. So we did on the Superbike by the new lap record is 108.5 mile an hour, and the previous one was 1.6 mile an hour slower than that, like, you know. So it was just kind of give us an idea, what was
that's a good jump. Yeah.
He was out on the Malenko Paget's bike, you know, the Clive Paget's Honda, the Malenko bike, like it would have been at the TT in the Northwest and all that, but Jesus Christ, he was really, really fast, like, you know, fair play.
Stupid question now, right? Like, would you hear the sound difference between Todd's bike engine note wise versus, say, just like a normal Joe Soap was trying to race a 600, say on another Honda? Like would the end would the engine sound like different compared to the others, like the tuning of it?
Todd's bike sounded very quiet coming towards you. By the time you could hear Davy's bike, he was gone. Because I was struggling to actually catch him on camera. Or the other bikes, you would hear them coming, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I remember your text saying that, God damn it, Davy Todd, every time that I try to put the camera up, it's already too late.
he was that fast. And the Honda just, it nearly seemed to glide. It didn't seem all that loud. From what I can remember, it was just very, very, very fast. And Davy was on fire, so he was like, but he's been on fire all year. He was the man. We had him down for man at the meeting at the Northwest. Like, he didn't actually win a race, but he was on the podium flat out, and he was unlucky not to win a race.
Yeah, and listen, look, for me, in the TT, he was the man with the biggest balls, like, because you could see it in Parc Ferme after the tire failure. When he went out again, I think it was the senior? No, it wasn't the senior race. It was the stocker race, and you could see, and he in the interview after, like, he said, like, in that race, the whole tire issue was in my mind constantly. Do you know what I mean? But he rode through it, like, and then he went out, and like, he didn't. Like, he didn't do a poor showing. Like, he was still on it, even though he admitted after he was very, very worried while on the bike, and it just kind of shows, in my view, I suppose, the caliber of him, like,
Well, the video showed it very well, didn't it? Where it showed the back tire delaminating and hitting the tail unit of the bike. Yeah. Like, imagine being on that thing. You would have felt that the whole way through the bike, like,
You would have. Yeah.
I was gonna say, as a non-road racer guy, I don't have them in the United States, but I hear the superbike guys and the MotoGP guys saying that the road racing is so scary they don't want to go on. Now, can you imagine it being so scary that the World Superbike guys are like, no, that's too risky for me, and they look at it and go, my God, how close to the edge are they riding? And I see them, I'm going down those little streets and the rough pavement and potholes are patched up. Like, Jesus God, they must carry their nuts around in a wheelbarrow.
Like the Northwest 200 there, that's 9 miles, and it's about 80 to 85% of it has to be flat out where you're pinned, no matter what machine you're on, just pinned. The straights are that long. It's scary there. Like, we drove the circuit in the car this year, and my God, like, that run down to Metropole, you're coming downhill into the town. It's crazy, like, crazy.
And it always fascinates me, and I've seen it like thousands of times. That was especially about the Northwest, is the slipstreaming.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like you're watching a fella 50, 60 yards behind another fella, and he just drives past them like nothing. Like the other fella is stopped there. But then he hits the air, right? And you can kind of see, like, he slings forward, and then, like, just as he passes him, you can kind of see he's slowing down, and the other fella, and it just fascinates me, And then there's like 10 of them all doing that at the same time, and you're like, oh my God almighty, like, do you know what I mean? And
they're doing 200 miles an hour.
And it's exactly, and it's just amazing. Just like, you're standing at the side of the ditch, and there's like 10 of them coming down. They're all slipstreaming. So you have the noise and you have the air pressure that blows past you when they blow past you, do you know? And you're just sitting there, and you're just like, unbelievable. And even better, you paid absolutely nothing to watch it.
Yeah.
But there's no entry fee, no? There's no entry fee.
Now, if you want to go to the
paddock, is 9 miles long in a triangle, so it goes through 3 different towns nearly. You have Portrush, Port Stewart, and then up into nearly Coleraine. So you couldn't. 9 miles in a triangle. Okay. So how many square miles of circuit have you actually got? Like, So, but it's the biggest. It's Northern Ireland's biggest sporting event.
Yeah, it's ironic you're saying about the Northwest, because I did see that at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's one of these off channels on cable, and here you don't get it. And I see a guy, and they're going down a straight, and there's like 2 or 3 of them, and the straight kept going and going and going. And I'm going, when does the straight end? It's like the salt flats, except with pavement. It was just, it just kept going. I was like, holy shit. Excuse my language.
When you drive it in a car at 60 mile an hour, it really does feel like it's never going to end. So it does, you know. It's that
and
long.
it ends then
really
with a
is.
dirty right-hander or a left-handed corner, 90-degree corner. You know,
Yeah.
where you're hard on the brakes.
That's right. There was a left-hander 90 degrees, and it was. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. And look, that's what it is, and look, and it's free, like for the Northwest. Now, look, if you want to go into the paddock, I believe, and it's the same in Armoy, Sleep.
£10 £10 into the paddock at the Northwest.
No biggie.
To meet the riders
And I think, as far as I remember, the two young fellas were free. The two young, and they're 13, like, you know. So £10 to get in and walk around the bikes. If you were brazen enough, you could go up and ask for a photo with your favorite rider or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and look, that's invaluable, man. Really, like, do you know what I mean? That, like, your young fella going up there to ask his favorite rider for a picture, and 90% of them would be fairly chilled out and cool with it. Yeah.
Well, we done it this weekend, so we did with we've been following Mick O'Sweeney there all year, so we have, like, you know, he's winning the Irish Roads Championship at the minute there, and he's a brilliant rider, and he's just having a great year, you know. But the young lad has been following him all year long, and we're walking through the paddock after the racing there, and I just seen him, we were packing up the stuff, and I just went over and asked him, and no problem, Adam went over, got his photo with him there, and Adam was walking back to the caravan, and he was just absolutely delighted with himself. So he was bloody delighted, like, you know. And that's the type of, you know, you can't buy that, like, you know.
You can't, but like,
see him, he's on the phone, he's texting his mates there, so he hasn't. He's there, well, he sent me that photo there straight away, and he's on the phone there the whole way over, and he's fucking, you know, he's loving it, like, you know. And
that's it, like, and it's something, like, to get the VIP experience in MotoGP are like £700-800 for 2 days, right? Do you know what I mean? And you go up and sit in a ditch there.
Really?
Pay a tenner and you get to meet your favorite rider. I do have a question to ask you, though. What was the story with Michael Dunlop?
Right, well,
in Armoy?
I could only tell you what I heard, but the rumour was that it was over money and a start fee. That Davy Todd was paid a start fee, and that Michael presumably wasn't paid a start fee. The statement he issued himself, or the team issued, was that he wasn't, that all teams weren't being treated on an equal and fair basis, was basically the way they worded it, you know.
Okay.
So,
I remember reading that.
From what I heard, that's the crack, like, you know. So I think there's probably a point to be made there from both sides with that, like.
Yeah, and look, when it came out to me, because, like, surely someone of Dunlop's stature, right, there would have been a few pound handed his way to go to the race, right? Because, like, look, a lot of people would have been drawn by the Dunlop name for that race, right? As
that race has come from, you know, the supporters of the original Armoy Armada, and two of the Armoy Armada were Joey and Jim Dunlop, that's their country, like, that's Dunlop country, you know.
And
originally, where they picked that circuit, how that circuit actually came about. Like, Jake, you would have heard of Joey Dunlop. Mm-hmm. The race I was at the weekend there, the circuit that they have that road race on was the original roads that Joey Dunlop and the Armada, as they would have been called, that's where they used to do the bike tuning before the races, was on them back roads there at night time, like, or whatever, you know. They'd be flat out along them roads, so that's where the idea of putting the circuit came from, like, you know. So that area is just the cradle of racing in Northern Ireland, or in Ireland would be Northern Ireland, and that would probably be the bloody epicenter of it, if you wanted to describe it that way.
Definitely, you know? Yeah. Now, a question that, like, it did pop into my mind, because I did read the statement that Dunlop put out, right? And Dunlop and Todd have had a fairly good battles in road racing this season, right? With, I would say, Todd coming out the better in majority of the races, right? And Todd then coming to Armoy. Do you think that may have ruffled Dunlop's feathers? Because, like, he's always won the main race at the end of it for the
grand final,
the grand final for the past 9 years that when it's actually run. Like, do you think there could be a little bit there that he's like, he just wasn't up for the challenge of Davy Todd?
I don't know. I don't know, but it would have been some challenge, and it would have taken some beating to stick with Davy Todd.
Now, how old is he now?
Michael Dunlop.
Yeah.
He's About 32, 33,
30,
something like that.
32, 33. You're still in prime, really.
Oh, well, look at these lads. Generally, the way it works is if they want to keep racing, they go to classics. Like Ian Locker was racing there on the classics, so he won a race and all.
So was Guy Martin, wasn't he? He didn't have.
Guy Martin was hanging about there somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, more most likely bumming cups of tea off people now.
Well, I presume he had bike troubles. I like Guy, you know. I even like him as a person. I like the stuff he does. I'd be kind of very similar. I'd be into old machinery and all that kind of thing too, you know. So I wouldn't like to say anything bad about him, but the young fella said he didn't try very hard, so he didn't. That was his estimation of it.
Right, okay.
And he wouldn't be too bad at picking a quick rider. He picked out Alex Rins before I ever really noticed anything in Alex Rins. And even the same there, he picked out Keelan Ryan at the start of the year, and that lad's winning the sport series in the Irish roads, like, you know. So
Jesus,
might have half an idea what he's looking at, like.
He's definitely, you know, maybe you should get him to start or to do your picks there for the championship there before we get on to them in a minute. But what's up next? So then for the Irish road racing, it's near the end of the championship, isn't it?
Yeah, Cork is next, and I think as far as I know, Cork will be the end of the Irish bit of the road championship. Now, when I was there, I found out that the Mid-Antrim road race is running in September, which would be, I presume, part of the Ulster Championship, because I know it's fairly complicated from what, like, when you actually try and find out what does be going on in the different classes. Like Mike Brown there from Cork, another Cork man, Mac, he won 2 Moto2 championships there this weekend. He won Moto3 championships. He won the Irish one, but he also won the Ulster Moto3 championship. You know?
Yeah.
With the same races, if you get me. So it's a little bit complicated.
It kind of sounds like Mondello's, the Superbikes were doing round 13, 14 and 15 on a Saturday.
Right.
So three different races, but they count as rounds.
Question, speaking about World Superbike, what do you think of Hickman? Because you know Hickman has signed a ride for BMW for the remainder of the season for BMW. Taking over for Laverty. Yes.
Is he taking over for Laverty?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just saw that.
I think Hickman is a great rider. I just don't know, is he circuit? You know, I think like look, we know that the BMW in the past, say, year or so, circuit-wise, is not anywhere near the front, right?
No, now it is.
That has so that might have a lot to do with it. But like when he gets on the roads, he's unstoppable. Like, you know,
unstoppable at the TT and the BMW.
When he goes to short circuit, it's like he doesn't make that switch back. Do you know what I mean? But look, saying that, he's a hell of a rider. I have a lot of respect for him. And you know, if he is taking over for Laverty to the end of the season, more power to him. You know, I'm surprised FHO Racing let him go. Actually, for Cork, I think Brian McCormack is actually coming to Cork next weekend.
That's brilliant.
I saw a merch advertisement for him that he was putting out, so I think he is on the way down as well. Or else that could be
Sweeney under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, but look, back to Hickman, guys. What do you think? So, is he a roads? He is more of a roads guy than a track guy, even though that he does the BSB constantly.
I thought, like when you say road, he does the TT in the Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think
he used to do the smaller ones, but so I think he was only doing those to get his license, right? So, like he
for your information. By the way, for your information, the BMW just took a big leap forward. They get that Cadillac swing arm did wonders for it, and they upgraded the electronics. The only thing they're lacking is still when they went through those Nissan brakes. They never could figure out why anybody goes with Nissan brakes. They haven't had a very good track record for forever, but they went with them. And BMW's doing their own electronics. They're not going with the standard Magneti Marelli, which that's a tough road to hoe. But their Reading is going right up to the top three. He's right up there with Toprak and Ray and Bautista.
The thing about it is, like, the developing of motorbikes is all money, you know. Like, you can, like, if you're willing to throw the money at it and keep throwing money at it and hire engineers, you will build a good motorbike. And BMW have lots and lots of money.
Yeah,
they do. But look, it'll be interesting to see. Like, I did watch the Superbikes at the weekend, and look, it's really enjoyable racing. I've made my thoughts clear on James Toseland, but we won't go down that rant anymore. And look, I do agree. Scott looked really good. The back of the bike though looks really loose. It looks like it's going to give way every time, and that's not hard, or that's not easy to ride, in my opinion. And there's only a certain amount of time he's going to be able to push that bike to that limit. Because when he does have an accident, and it's not a case of if, it's when he does have an accident, if he's pushing that hard, like you could see he twisted the throttle, and you could see the back end of the bike straight away flexing. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to get to a flex point where it's just going to snap back at him. Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, this could be very, very, very ugly. Like, do you know what I mean? But anyway,
waiting to happen.
Yeah, Bautista looks like he's going to crash every lap. Did you see Bautista?
Yeah, I saw that. I just like the Ducati is absolutely so stiff. The front would wag and then the rear would wag straight after it. You know what I mean? So you're just like, but look, it is great racing. To be fair, you know, it's going to be an interesting run-in. Like they have to, Toprak and Ray have to collar Bautista probably in the next 2 or 3 rounds, if I'm honest. If not, he's going to run away with it. But that's a nice segue into, I suppose, our main event, which is Silverstone this weekend. I'm happy out that motor racing is back, and that MotoGP is back, I should say. And you know, it's been a long 5 weeks, I can tell you that. Trying to come up with new and different things to talk about, but I suppose the first thing that we're going to talk about is Fabio, and there's a lot of things out there now saying Fabio can't win this race. No. And I kind of think a little bit differently, right? And here I know people are going to probably be going like, he's killed Yamaha all year, now he's going to say Fabio could win in Silverstone, right? And here's kind of my take on it. Firstly, the long lap penalty. All right, Fabio is going to practice that long lap penalty all weekend, right? Yeah. So that long lap penalty spot is not going to be as green as if it was in a race, right? Also, if you look at where the long lap penalty is, it's in the loop section, turn 14, turn 14 or turn 4. Then, if you're using the Formula One pits, right? But the way it is, that the loop is a very tight hairpin or a hairpin-like bend, okay? And the long lap penalty is just outside of that loop, so you will actually be braking later into that, so you're actually going to carry a little bit more speed in, and it's like a short V, so you drop down very quick and then you have a straight line exit out again. So I don't think he's actually going to lose an awful lot of time in there if he's very smart in how he does it. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's lap 2 they get the indication that they can take the long lap, and then they have 3 laps to do it. I think it's something like that, right? So, okay. So he can get it done early enough. He has the time to recover. Now, top 3 last year in Silverstone was Fabio, 1. Rins second.
Too, wasn't he?
Rins was in second. And Aleix Espargaro was in third.
His first podium, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
His first podium, yeah.
First podium.
And I think the difference between Quartararo in first and Aleix Espargaro in third was 4 seconds. So I reckon it's going to be a dogfight. I have a feeling Fabio will probably lose 2.5 to 3 seconds in that long lap. I don't think they're going to lose the 5 seconds. No, it could be wrong, but I think now why I'm saying this is because I took the young fella's PlayStation 5 the other night. He happens to have MotoGP 21, and guess what I was doing? I was practicing the long lap at Silverstone just to get an understanding of how fast I think I could do. Obviously, in real life, it's different. But again, it was just like, okay, actually, you can stand the bike up and fire it straight out much quicker than you could actually taking the curve itself, or the turn itself. So, look, I'll stand corrected, obviously, if I'm wrong, but I'd definitely love to know what you think. What do you think of the Grand Prix? Any predictions? Who do you think is going to win it?
Well, I think this all gets down. Go ahead, Sleep.
I think Aleix is going to win it.
Oh, you dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Fabio's going to come second though.
I got Aleix, Pecco, and then Quartararo, and Martin fourth. I'll give you a bonus.
Is this championship or is this
the race in the race?
In the race, Jake. So you're going to go.
It all depends how fast if Fabio can get to that corner first. If he can do his lightning fast start, that'll help him a lot for that long lap penalty.
Yeah.
You see,
he can pull a gap over the first 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, he needs to pull a gap, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, look, he has to pull the gap within 5 laps, right? So if he wants to win it, he has to put more than 3 seconds in 5 laps, which I probably don't think he's going to do, right? But here's where I think, and this is why I think, I've always said, if there's only 1 or 2 slow corners coming onto a straight, or sorry, if there's a slow corner coming onto a straight, Yamaha is screwed, right? And out onto the Hangar Straight is quite a fast turn because they come through Maggots and Beckett's and out onto the straight. And it's actually, they're probably in 3rd gear by the time they get out onto the straight, right? So Honda are not going to lose a bunch of time there. Or sorry, Yamaha are not going to use a bunch of time to the others there. Where they will lose time and they will get eaten up is on a straight called the Wellington Straight. And that straight is the straight that is after the loop where the long lap penalty is. And the reason they will get eaten there is because that is kind of like 2nd gear, 2nd into 3rd into 4th. And I think the Ducatis and the Aprilias and so will eat them there. Personally, for the race, I think it's going to either be Fabio or I think it's going to be Pecco. I don't think Aleix is going to win, and that's just me being a little bit out there. I think Aleix.
Do you think Pecco's going to come back strong now for the second half of the season?
Well, I know I have an idea who you're going to pick for championship, and I would be going to the bookies and I'd be putting a small bit of bobs on Pecco to win it.
To win the championship?
And to win the champion. Yeah, and this is why. He has absolutely nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing.
Now I'm worried about Pecco.
It would take Fabio to go to start like DNFing and getting 6th and 7th places and Pecco to be winning races.
Yep, it would.
And
I can't see Fabio falling.
You know? I can see Fabio having another one go off.
Really, Fabio never falls though. I mean, really, look at his whole career. When did he fall? Like twice in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
The kid never goes down. I don't think he would go down on oil and water's track. It's amazing.
And look, the only reason I'm actually thinking Pecco, right? Look, it's very easy to go Fabio or Aleix, in my view. But I was sitting a couple of nights ago and I was thinking about this. It's like Pecco is normally really strong the second half of the season, right? Now,
no, he is, yeah.
He's put himself in a very crap position, being 60 odd points behind, right? But realistically, the way I was kind of thinking of it, it's 2 mistakes from Fabio and a 5th place. Do you know what I mean? And he's bang on. So if you have nothing to lose and you're going to harry someone like Fabio, could you push him into?
There's another thing that there's another variable there now is they haven't decided who his teammate is yet.
Yeah.
That could rattle his cage there now too. If he got
who's gonna? You're talking about Pecco.
Pecco, yeah. They haven't decided who's in Jack's seat yet.
No,
no. Yeah.
That's a tough call. Anyway, you look at it though.
Yeah.
Just because of the injury.
He has his preference, hasn't he?
I don't think he does.
He has, but he won't say. Yeah.
Listen, I haven't heard anything of it.
Yeah. Listen, I can tell you who he wants.
They all work for Ducati.
Yeah. He wants the slowest one.
Yeah.
So who's slower between Bastianini and Martin? That's the one he wants. Do you know what?
Yeah. Well, I think who has more potential between Martin and Bastianini?
Oh, Martin, because he has the speed.
Do you think so?
Yeah. And Bastianini, by their own calling, they say he cannot set up a mini bike. He just goes on and rides. He has no idea why he goes fast or that type of thing. He can't. His feedback is supposedly horrible. That's by his own crew chief. He's like, you know how we just do it all for him. We tell him, that's the bike, get on it and go, and that's it.
Just to ride the bike.
Just the ride of the bike.
Exactly. I just go ride my bike. I win. It's okay. Yeah. But look, isn't that what you want, right?
Yeah, but wouldn't you want somebody that's good at setup? Because how many times is Pecco's not that good? How many times has Pecco put the wrong tire on at the last minute? What, 4 times?
Yeah, but look, I would class that as Pecco. Pecco's very like me. I get notions.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because remember the one Rossi was trying to not to use a certain tire.
Yeah, and
them and all that, And it worked for that weekend, but the next weekend it didn't work, and he picked the wrong tire and he crashed.
Well, I thought Rossi told him what to use, and he went okay, and then changed it at the last minute, and he was all PO'd at him.
No, that was actually Misano when the second Misano last year, and Rossi told him, "Do not use the hard front tire."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he used the hard front tire and crashed.
Mm-hmm. I'm worried about Pecco in this race. Because you're telling me it has off-camber corners. And Pecco seems to be a creature of habit.
No, it doesn't have. It actually has banked corners, so the corners are fine. But the track actually, and I do enjoy Silverstone, but Silverstone is more set up for cars, really. Do you know what I mean? And the only reason that it's in Silverstone is that there is actually nowhere else really. I love Donington Park myself, but it couldn't really hold a full proper MotoGP race. Now the structure isn't there anymore since they dug it up that time. Do you remember? And then Wales failed, so because there was supposed to be a race in Wales and funding went out. But for me, I just think I have a funny feeling. This weekend, I do think the way Silverstone is long, high-speed corners, I do think the Yamaha will fly. Might get caught in the Wellington Straight, and I do think Fabio, in the first few laps, if he gets ahead, he will build a bit of a gap. But he will come out behind Aleix, and he then will have to fight either Aleix or Pecco. I do believe the two of those will be there. But for the race, I think it's Fabio. For the championship, I actually am thinking Pecco, genuinely believing that the second half of his season is going to be very, very strong. I think Fabio could have his eyes too much on Aleix and not see the other fella coming in from the left. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's something that your man will just plug away. And then the famous saying, you know, most dangerous person is someone with nothing to lose. At worst, Pecco could finish 4th or 5th in the championship and blame the first half of the season on Ducati, saying, "You gave me a crap bike at the start of the year. What do you expect?"
It wasn't finished. Well, half of that was his own fault, but anyhow.
Yeah, but then, do you know what I mean? So I just think he's very dangerous because he has nothing to lose. So, Jake,
I'm going to hold you to that. We're getting you a beer. I'll send you a freaking beer from the United States.
I might actually be in the States actually quite soon, Jake. So we
always have a place to stay if it's near Philadelphia.
Yeah, I might call and just pre-collect that beer.
Yeah.
So Jake, who are you going for? So
I told you. For the championship, I got to be Fabio. He never, like I said, he never crashes, and he has too many points built up. Espargaro, as much as I'd like to see him, you know, another guy up there just for variety's sake, I don't see him consistent enough to beat Fabio. It's not Fabio's speed at this point because the bike's dragging him back. He's winning despite the bike instead of because of it, but he's so damn consistent that, like you said, he just keeps plugging away, you know.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't shoot for first. He will settle for second. He's gotten a little maturity on him.
Yeah,
he has. And Sleep, nail your colours to the mast there now.
I think I'm going to go Aleix first. I think Fabio will fight his way back to second, and I think probably Pecco will be in third.
Okay, for the race and for the championship.
Yeah, for the championship, after Fabio's going to win the championship, lads. That's just the crack there, like.
Yeah. All right. Okay. And listen, look, we just have it for the record that Ghost Rider has put down that 100% is going to be Aleix Espargaro that's going to win the championship all day long. So yeah, look, I think this weekend. Look,
I'll get another beer off of that one. Yeah.
You probably need to send a keg. Being honest, if Aleix wins, because I'd say there'll be some session. He does seem to be enjoying himself in Italy with himself and the wife, according to the pictures. But yeah, look, I'm really buzzing to see free practice 1 tomorrow, Friday. It will definitely be good to see the bikes back on track. It'd be very interesting to see Fabio cleaning up the line for the long lap to make sure that race day comes along. The weather looks okay in the UK at the moment, so it should be okay. What was I going to say though? Did you see the thing that's coming out about Darren Binder in Kyalami?
No.
Did you hear about that at all?
No.
So obviously Kyalami's not on the circuit or on the calendar this year, but Darren wanted to see how the KTM would fare around Kyalami. So there is a few video samples out there of it, but it's going to be released sometime in August, I believe, by Red Bull, showing and detailing exactly what he did, brakes, what it took to actually do a lap of Kyalami, because what they were trying to do was set the fastest two-wheel record around the Kyalami track, which I believe they have done, but it'll be interesting to see the video once it comes out.
Just 1 second, lads.
No worries. Other than that, there's not a lot else going on. I'm very interested to see who's going to be the man Friday. Who do you think, Jake, will be top man Friday in the practice?
In practice, as usual, Pecco. He's great in practice, and he's great on qualifying. It'll be him and Martin. All depends on his wrist. Now, like I said, if his wrist is fixed up, they gave him a nice break on that to get the 4 or 5 weeks.
5 weeks, yeah. Yeah. Now, look,
like I said, wrists are a tawny thing. I'll be honest with you. A lot of times they don't work. Yeah, I know this for a fact. Yeah, I know a lot of athletes in boxing, and I know mechanics. They get the wrist beat up. I mean, what they call carpal tunnel. But we have true carpal tunnel, not somebody typing where they're banging on the wrists. It rarely comes back all the way or stays fixed. Not to put a doom on it.
It'll be quite interesting to see how he goes. And yeah, look, the whole Ducati decision, how is that going, or what is going on with it? That is very interesting to see what is going to happen between Bastianini and him. Personally, myself, I think actually the fastest man Friday tomorrow will be Aleix. I think he's going to go out and push it straight away, spite that screen, get an idea of where he is. But Steve, we were just asking the question for tomorrow, Friday's practices. Who do we think is going to be the fastest man in practice, combined sessions tomorrow? Jake has said Pecco. I've said Aleix.
I would have said Pecco too.
Jesus,
I'll have to go outside the box now.
You won't give him a race winner a championship, but you give him fastest man on a Friday.
Yeah, but that'll be just a crack. He'll go out and he'll put it on pole and do nothing with it, like.
Yeah,
or he'll do a Ferrari and put on the wrong tires.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you watch the Formula One at the weekend, lads? But they made an absolute balls of it again. Ferrari did.
Jeez,
so they did.
Watch that at all.
Yeah.
But let me think. I'll have to pick someone different if Jake is going for Pecco. Who else now could possibly put the bike on?
I just went with the odds and look at his past history. That's all, because he always seems to pull it out. Zarco.
Yeah, no,
you love Zarco. You are a Zarco fan through and through. You love them consistent guys. Yeah.
Yeah, Zarco's a good rider, so he is, like, you know.
Oh, he is a good rider. I just don't think he has the raw speed. And I think
another man who could put it on pole and not win the race.
What'd you say?
Another man who's capable of putting it on pole and wouldn't win the race after it.
The race, yeah. And look, he's been very, very unlucky in my view. You know, he's the nearly man of MotoGP, right? You know, like he has the talent. I do think
he has the speed.
I do think, you know, who should be very afraid of Zarco is it's actually Michele Pirro.
Oh, for his test rider job.
Yeah. He's faster.
Really? Well, they'd be mad. They'd be mad to lose him as a test rider at any point.
He's in the Ducati factory long term now, I would think.
Yeah.
You know, he has literally he's doing the development of the GP22.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's why I think that he's.
And you wouldn't want him going anywhere else if you're Gigi Dellini, would you?
No.
So it's very.
And how long? He's a development rider. He's been through the mill already. He's not. Or am I thinking of a different guy?
Zarco.
Different Pirro.
Michele Pirro. Yeah, he's their development rider.
Yeah, he's been around for.
He's been around for years. Yeah.
Okay, I'm the same guy.
Yeah, and then one last thing, and we'll wrap it up then for tonight is hopefully there is talk of Sylvain Gintoli joining World Superbikes.
I heard that. So
as a rider,
yeah.
As a flat out rider. I never liked him. I know I always take passing as a singular talent. Like Rossi was the best ever. He would set up passes like a surgeon, 3-4 behind, and it'd be perfect. Sylvain Gintoli, he had speed. Like you see him if he was out by himself, but his passing ability was like, it was terrible. It seemed like the announcers were saying, "There's a spot, there's a spot, there's a spot," and he wouldn't pass. He has to have 6 foot wide to go for it.
Yeah, I remember. He used to be really good, actually, at that. He was very brave, and I think it was in British Superbikes. He got his leg broken, I think. Yeah,
it was the leg broken, yes.
I think it was it Carl Hart? It might not have been. I can't remember who it was, but that kind of changed. I think he's a perfect tester. I can't fathom for a second why he hasn't already got a Yamaha contract. I genuinely can't fathom why they wouldn't sign him almost immediately.
Was there any word on what Superbike team or what manufacturer he was going to be going?
No, there's no word on it, but my latest understanding is that it's either a World Superbike team or another endurance team. If it's another endurance team, he'll probably go to Yamaha MotoGP as well.
Yeah, and as a test rider, that would be a great pick because they're just coming out with a new R1 for 2023. You heard that, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, there is a new R1, for 2023, but I think it's going to be more so that he's going to go to Yamaha for the development of the MotoGP bike, and I think he'd be brilliant to have a reference of what Suzuki were doing with the inline four over there. You know what I mean? Because let's be fair, on bike and chassis development and engine development, Suzuki are a little bit ahead. It mightn't be working, but they're trying more things than what Yamaha were, you know. And look, this kind of a point I've made a few times especially with what's going on with Yamaha right now. The second Yamaha behind Fabio on 172 points is Franco Morbidelli on 25 points. He's the lowest works rider on a factory bike. Full stop. Yeah. Right? He's only 15 points ahead of the satellite team, and one of those is a rookie from Moto3. Do you know what I mean? Like, so as a manufacturer, Yamaha are, in my view, are struggling to get a bike for majority to ride. Like, if you go back to 2014, 15, 16, or whatever, anyone that threw their leg over a Yamaha was fighting for the top 10.
Yeah.
That's what and that's what they're missing. Anyone gets on a Ducati now, you'll have a good crack off the top 10 if you're anyway fast.
Yeah. So, people forget though that the Yamaha, the R1, the chassis is from 2017. That was when that was developed. Remember that that thing's been very long in tooth. And if they add power, this was the crew chief of Yamaha said, if we add any power, even a higher power map, the thing gets all loosey-goosey. It just overtaxes the chassis. Remember that?
Yeah, it just flexes, and that's the end of it. Yeah.
People forget to add power, and then so they're going to have to get a new chassis, regardless if it's an inline 4 or a V4. So they need to make a new bike. Period.
Yeah. I look. It'll be interesting to see.
Down the weekend there was in the classics, there was a bike racing. I think it was Guy Martin was supposed to be racing it, but it was called a Marowaki Honda. And
I remember those. Yes.
Marowaki, yeah. But
you're not old enough to remember those. Anyhow, go ahead.
I'd never heard about them, so I had to Google this and find out what Marowaki is. Marowaki is like a Japanese sports engineering company, that.
Marowaki.
Yeah. So they're actually running Honda Superbikes.
They have Honda Superbikes.
Not sorry, they're World Superbikes.
They're World Superbikes, yeah.
Since 2019. Is Marowaki?
I think they're right.
They were in
one of
years
the
ago.
Was Lorenzo or Luca Murcielago or something like that. He's normally towards the back of it. Okay, I trying to think of his name. It's definitely his surname. Definitely begins with an M. But yeah, Motowaki is I would know. I would have heard of those, and they were actually to try and tune the chassis, weren't they?
That's what they do, you know.
Yeah.
I wonder have they any input into the MotoGP side of things, if they have input into the World Superbikes.
Never heard of them in the MotoGP side of it.
No,
but they've been around a long time. They were around in the 80s. They were around in the 80s.
The Marowaki that we seen was I think it was a 350 Honda. This thing would have been 60s or 70s. This bike, this was
it was an old
bike, you know?
There's a long partnership there, definitely with Honda, and it's still going. Your man Ricardo is his name, Ricardo. Yeah. He's an army Italian Charlie in the Superbikes.
Yeah, Cosworth used to run with developed for Honda also back in the day.
They did,
and and then they came back and tried it again with when Jonathan Ray was running the CBR 1000 RR. That was a Cosworth. Yeah.
Was it a Conrad engine?
Because we've probably done the work on the cylinder head, did they?
They would have, yeah.
Well, I know a lot of Toyota cars would have Yamaha developed cylinder heads. Anything with a T in the engine, or G is a G in the engine code is a cylinder head developed by Yamaha.
Yeah. One of the things that Ray, people don't know, Ray's was a big thing. He wanted to switch to Kawasaki was the ISR brakes. He wanted either Brembo or ISR brakes, and Honda Tenkate team were getting paid by Nissan to use their brakes, and they would not give him his brakes. Well, and he said, "I can't win without."
Nissan brakes are actually a Honda company.
Yeah.
Did you know? Yeah. So they wouldn't. And Tenkate then were a factory supported Honda team. So Mr. Tozen would know them.
Might be able to make a brake caliper, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And Showa is owned by Honda, the suspension company that Kawasaki's running. Yeah.
And look, it's really interesting, like the engineering that goes on that are linked, and then when you look at it, and this is kind of what I was saying about KTM, right? Like Honda have their own suspension company, yet they don't use them in MotoGP because not up to standard. Honda have their own brake company, yet they don't use it in MotoGP because it's not up to standard. Do you know what I mean? But then you look at the likes of KTM, and they use WP suspension, which is a brilliant manufacturer, don't get me wrong, but it's out of sync with everyone else, right? So again, all the data coming back is you're limited to 4 bikes rather than manufacturer coming back with the other 18 or whatever, or other 20 bikes. Do you know what I mean? Worth the data.
If you got a job in KTM, that would be your first order of business, wouldn't it? Oland's would be on the phone to Oland's. As soon as the contract is signed, you'd be on the phone to Oland's.
Yeah. And then the second one would be an aluminium chassis. And just to please KTM, we would create some sort of mounting system that we could put like a trellis on the outside of it so that people would think
or paint it. Yeah. You could paint the aluminum chassis. You just put paint tubes down the side.
3D printed trellis frame paddock stands.
Yeah,
there you go. That's it. You know what I mean?
I keep saying Honda should go with a Calyx chassis, just to give somebody a shit that knows what they're doing. But KTM also, especially since KTM dealt with the Calyx already with Moto 2.
Yeah. Look,
they're so good at it. Somebody should give them a shot. It's not downtrodden to use aftermarket, chassis.
It's not aftermarket chassis because basically it's a custom one. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
who is to say? Yeah, we're working with Calyx in conjunction with Honda. So who really actually knows? Whether Calyx are welding it or whether it's a Honda tech that's welding it. But anyway, look, lads, thank you so much again for tonight. It was absolutely great. I'm absolutely buzzing for tomorrow's sessions. And I'll be straight out with the videos as soon as Free Practice 2 ends. What is work? Work will have to wait. We have to make the video first. But look, I'm really excited. We're going to be back again on Sunday for a live show. Where we're going to be talking during the race, talking whatever. So feel free to set a reminder. The link will be in the description of this email or of this video email. Jesus, I'm going to be talking about work. But yeah, look, thank you very much for everything. I'm really excited and gutted as well, Sleep, that I will, for anyone who doesn't know, the Munster 100 is on in the 13th and 14th of August. Very embarrassing for myself is I'm actually on holidays, and the Munster 100 happens about 7 miles from my door. So
you'll be out there with goggle, with binoculars. Hey, honey, what are you doing? Oh, nothing.
I could just sit in the roof and listen to the bikes, but I don't know.
Yeah, if you listen closely, you'd be able to hear them.
Yeah. And look, like it is such a pity. It would have been good to catch up and have a few beers and show you the beautiful sights of Cork, so that you don't.
Yeah, well, I have to do a bit of sightseeing while I'm down that far anyway.
Well, yeah, like you said, you're coming to Fota, which is, I think, 3 miles from my front door. So you're getting closer and closer, and there's actually a little caravan place down where I am, where it's right beside the ocean. It's actually lovely.
You're in a very scenic part of the world.
I am. So if I look out my window, the next stop is America.
That's right.
So that's
you're down where the telephone line comes in from America.
That's it. Yeah.
One closing thought, by the way, and one request. When I win my beer, do not send me that brown Guinness crap that you guys drink over there. It's all warm. I want a regular beer.
We don't all drink that. Don't worry. We don't.
No, okay.
We don't.
Whipping out on me that stuff.
Oh.
We don't drink that, and B, we would never drink a warm beer.
No,
oh, really?
Sacrilege.
I thought all you Englishmen drank warm beer.
Firstly, we're Irishmen.
I know.
Call us English once more. We'll be on a plane over to see you. All right.
Big fair play.
Yeah.
There.
warm beer. Yeah, warm beer. No, I actually have a cold beer in the fridge, which I'm going to go take right now. But again, lads, thank you so much for joining. Really excited actually to hear how Cork goes. Sleep.
Looking forward now. The championship will be decided up there for a lot of races. Some of the races are already, the championship is already more or less decided, But with one other good thing now coming up probably in Cork is that there's one of the riders, Barry Davidson, got his 99th win there at Armoy, so he'll be going for his 100th win in Cork, which is
brilliant.
A fair number of wins to have on the road. So it is,
Oh, it is.
He's been probably leading the junior 350 class all year in the Honda, but he seemed to have bike trouble there at Armoy because he went out in the 2 races. So he probably would have had it already only for that, But I think Cork will be. Cork.
Yeah, he'll be trying to make sure that bike is trying to make that bike bulletproof for Cork now, so he gets that.
Yeah, and it's a lovely little bike. We should probably take a picture of a few of these bikes, so you could let us know in the comments, I suppose, there, if you want to see a picture of some of these things we'll be talking about.
Absolutely.
And also, I know you have great videos, but I'd like to have a little more, loose Irish women. Take a few photos while you're there. I'm sure there's a couple of them around. Gotta spice it up a little bit.
Well, that would definitely worth more than one beer.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can get away with all the racing is to take the whole family.
Yeah.
That's it. To make sure that you're not getting into any trouble while they're.
Although in saying that, the last one there now, Mid Antrim, myself and one of the lads there are we're just going up the 2 of us now to do that one. So that one will be. There'll be a few drinks in that one.
The keg. That's exactly what I was thinking. The keg will be in the caravan.
Actually, look at in Armoy there, they had a shebeen going, so they had it down in the paddock. And it was flat out till 1 o'clock in the morning every night. A shebeen, Jake, is just where you convert a barn into a pub, basically.
I was lost on that one.
It's a country thing. You'd have it in real rural parts of the country, where there'd be very little. They'll convert a cowshed into a pub there and sell cans of beer over the counter or whatever, But one of them set up there and music.
Oh, that's neat. So, in the United States, they throw you in jail for 10 years if you tried that.
Yeah,
literally.
It should still be a thing around here in the real rural parts.
Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, lads, thank you again for joining. We will catch up again, and we'll shoot for another podcast next week. This time we'll have all excitement of racing in MotoGP, and Gaz or Sleeper, you will be getting all excited for coming to Cork, the real capital of Ireland.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait now. So it was after Armoy. I really can't wait. It's just going it's just it's going to be a long few days to wait. So it is, but for the flight.
That's it. But at least you have a MotoGP now to know. So something to keep you out
I couldn't believe it when I found out that the MotoGP started back this weekend. It flew for me. I didn't feel the 5 weeks at all.
It didn't. I felt it 5 weeks. 5 weeks of a video every day. But look again. Thanks a million, lads, and we'll wrap it up there, and we'll see everyone again next week.
Right, that'll do, boys. Right, take it easy, lads.
See
you later, Jake. See you later, Matt.
Bye.
Bye.
I just want to take a minute to also thank you for watching my videos and the support that you've shown so far. If you haven't subscribed already and you would like to subscribe, it would mean an awful lot to me if you did. I'm starting this channel realistically so that we can all enjoy MotoGP together, with the aim of streaming a live video when the GP races are on.